Yeah, that's why I wanted to get your light. See how dark it is in the back? Oh, back here would be nice behind me. Oh, that's nice. Oh no, yeah, that ain't gonna work because you want like. Yeah, I know, folks. Anybody here? We get Friday night agree to disagree channel. Uh, there's Tyrone from New England Truth. I don't see anybody on yet, so we'll just hang out. I was not here last week, so kind of dropped the ball. But I know that once you go live and people are browsing on YouTube, it usually does get a pretty good response. So um, I don't go live that often. Once a week, I'm going to try to do it, and unless it's something pertinent, something dangerous, like when I was at the New York State Barracks, I went live because I was afraid. Honey Bunny, how are you? Hey, Granite State, how are you? New Mexico citizen, you're on my list. Jenny Jones, safety man. Hey, safety man. Mystery 13, as always, loyal, and thank you. Granite State, I gave you a wrench. I just started giving wrenches out. I'm sorry. Maybe I was supposed to ask. I don't know. But I just nominated people with wrenches because I know that, like, Granite State is a great auditor. She's very calm and collected. I know that she's rational thinking. So appreciate it. Scott Haskin also gave you a wrench. Appreciate it. Appreciate the support, Scott. We'll still get up there, or we'll still make that thing that we were talking about. I'm using my my laptop to do the webcam today. It's unusual for me. Usually, I try to set up something to film, but I'm giving it a shot. See how it goes. Got a new laptop. Good new iPhone coming in the mail. They're supposed to be here today. Looks like they're going to be here Monday, of course. So I'm going to have a new phone number. Granite State, I'll give you my new phone number. Scott, I'll give you a new phone number. Anybody that has my phone number, um, I will give it to you somehow through an email or something. Any moderator, please put in my email, Tyrone Eddie123 at gmail.com. That's the one I'm going to use for the business from now on. It's two E's, Tyrone, and then another EEDDY at AOL. Kim in Georgia, how are you? Let's see. Miss Kim, how are you? Tony Doherty. Oh, go. That's early bedtime, man. Audio too low, NET. Is that better? Let me turn it up. Hold on a second. Thank you. What's that? Is that better? Can you hear me now? Any better? Let me hear some ones. How about Black Hester? How are you? Any ones for the audio? Can everybody hear me? That did help. Much better. Anthony, how are you? Danny D, how are you? You're good. All right, Granite. All right, good. So this is the fourth. Kim and George, about a booey. Hey, buddy. Honey Bunny once again. All right, so this is Jenny Jones. This is the fourth edition of Agree to Disagree, but we basically cover a lot of other things. And the reason why the title is Agree to Disagree is because I want the platform not to be argumentative about personalities. I choose to do principles over personalities. So I want Howard Smith. How are you? I want to focus on the principles, and I just want to focus on the positive things. The things that we're supposed to do. One of the things that I wanted to start into was a new auditor spotlight. I think it's important that it's not a community per se. It's not an organization per se. There's no rules, guidelines, Bible. But I think it's important that if you believe in what you're doing from a moral standpoint, it's important to give back so that you can receive and that the organization is greater as a whole. So what I try to do, like with Solid Citizen News, um, I've met him and he was brand new. He's really nervous. But hey, Huckleberry, it's called the Constitution. Well said. I stand corrected. Black Hester, how are you? But I try to give back, not for glory, not for any kind of admiration, but because I know that I'm reinforcing what I believe, and I'm also extending that networking what I believe is true, and try to help other people. And I think that's only going to help the community as a whole. Um, so that's what I try to do. Sean Alexander, what's up? So Solid Citizen News is the first guy I'm going to talk about, because he was the first individual, and I don't feel qualified to be a sponsor of anybody. I make too many mistakes to be that guy. But hey, North Corruption Monitor 907, Bug Bite, what up? But I want to give back, and he was new enough where I felt comfortable trying to provide something for him. So Chuck Lutz, what's up? So I wanted to acknowledge Solid Citizen News. Doesn't have a lot of subscribers. Doesn't have a lot of videos. Very raw. But I think if you give people like that support, they feel good from a positive reinforcement sense, and it encourages them because, as you know, the trolls are going to beat up on anybody to shut them down. If they can catch them early, they know that they can nip that person in the bud. And I think there's a lot of people who do go by the wayside for that reason. So, um, hey, let's see who else is in here. Anybody? All right. So, Solid Citizen News. I want to talk about New Mexico Citizen. I've done some research on these people's sites briefly, but enough. Dan Smith, how are you? Trolls can be on all sides. Bada Booey, what is that? I don't know what it is, but I'm going to show it. Bada Booey. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt here. Um, New Mexico Citizen, another person. I'm going to pick a couple people every couple weeks, 2, 3 weeks, and just try to highlight them and mention them and talk about them. Okay. And what I do is when I go on their site, I look for really raw, new. They're trying to make their way. They're trying to find their way. Not 1,000 probably. There's some, like I got one I'm going to mention. It's got 4,000. Freedom to film, but I'm trying to talk about people that usually are brand new. But you're only as strong as your weakest link, and your foundation is where it's at. So, New Mexico Citizen, keep it doing. Try to support him. Try to go to his site. Try to give him some comments, maybe to help him and do it in a constructive manner, not to hurt him. A lot of other auditors, when they don't like that I swear, they'll become derogatory in their criticism, and I'll still receive it in the right way, but it's not necessary, and it's not going to help people who are new. Um, I tried to hit show on that. I don't know if it showed on it. Fuck it. Oh, you did it. Okay. So you know, I'm going to support these people. I'm going to do the best I can. They're going to find their way. They're going to make mistakes, just like I do, and probably will. Oregon Road, what's up? Um, so New Mexico Citizen, Solid Citizen News. Check them out. Go to their channel. Help support them. Okay, guys. Uh, Fighting the good fight. Love the name. Great name. Bill, what's up? Uh, Fighting the good fight has been a great supporter. He's on a lot. He has spent a lot of, in my opinion, a lot of, and Freedom to Film actually, a lot of time in chats and trying to express his passion. And I see a lot of humility. And when I see a lot of humility, these people have intelligence, but you don't have to be all, it's you got the humility, you got the passion, you're going to provide a service. And I'm going to help support you if I can. I don't have a lot of subscribers. I'm new. I'm nobody. Piece of sand in the ocean here, buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, piece of sand in the ocean. But uh, if I have 9,000 subscribers and somebody has 900, I want to get that. Try to help that person get to 1,000. Parent Drome, how are you? I didn't see that. Hate the shout out to my channel. Hey, Hate the State. Shout out to Hate the State. Making a lot of waves, doing a lot of good things out there. Anthony and Estor. Hate the State. Parrot Drome, Howard Smith. Hate the State does do a lot of serious work there. So yeah, uh, there's certain people who they're more passive, and I respect that. Uh, I'm trying to be like that, but there's people who are a little bit more, passionate, and it comes through. And Hate the State is one of those people. So definitely Hate the State if you're looking, for a more passionate individual. Uh, Ian, how are you? Ion, you. Rolando, much love from France. I am French, French and Irish. I speak actually I speak Carney. I speak French Canadian Carney. I was born in a circus. I know. I have the proof. First language I learned was Carney. I can speak fluent Carney, and it's French Canadian version. Anyways, Drew FE New York, what's up? Radio Nut R starting to audit. There you go. Radio Nut R starting to audit. Mobile again as soon as my knees are. Yeah. Hey, keep it going, man. Because you know, I just went through a tough time with an injury. I was out for 2 weeks, really sore as hell. I did my last live show. You guys don't know. I was in a lot of pain. And I only ran out of Percocets in 2 days. So I was done for like another 12 days. Sapient Agus, how are you? Scotland in the house. How are you, sir? Um, I am Irish, not Scottish, but I'm Irish. Don't mess with me. We're cool, right? uh, so, Whitebeard, how are you? Good to see you again. So, new people, my encouragement, my suggestion, my love, my passion says to me to express to everybody when I can to support the new channels. Uh, Fair Shake, how are you, buddy? Uh, Support the new channels. If somebody didn't support me, and I think at the time it Bow Clash with Bow was one, and Brian King kind of gave me the advice. But Clash with Bow would show my videos, and those kind of, and Penny News did an audit with me, and those people were, hey, Joe Will Banks, what's up? Kyle Morris, how are you? So, well, what you didn't miss much, Whitebeard. We're talking about just giving back. It's a full circle scenario here. You're coming full circle means that you're going to do your thing, but also give back to receive and continue the process to build this message. That's a message. And everybody has a little spin on their message, how they execute it, how they don't. But for the most part, everybody has a message. And in order to help build that, I think we should support anybody, no matter who they are. But I think we should support the lower community. If they have less than 1,000, maybe they want to be monetized. Help them. Top sirloin, 420. I'm with the 420. The top sirloin, I'm a ribeye guy. uh, he used to be a role model for a lot of people. Who's that, Granite State? Who was a role model? If you're, see, I can't catch up with all these chats sometimes. Please learn the laws, the Constitution, Mystery 13. Thank you. Learn property lines. Get the GSA survey. Find out where stuff is. Yes, yes. Unless a little clarification. There are laws in place that people want to challenge. They want to say, no, I don't agree with that law. So I'm going to challenge that law. That's different. But for the most part, if you want to just do an audit, want to be safe, you want to go home, you want to risk jail, and you're safer, that's the way to do it. Listen to Mystery 13. I missed that. Hopefully, Granite State, let me get back down here. News Now, New Hampshire. Oh, News Now, New Hampshire. Yeah. News Now, Houston, excuse me. Yeah, and I try to stay out of politics and all those things, and it's a tough one. Um, Leadership is a tough thing when you talk about people's concept of autonomism and voluntarism. I'm a guide to myself, and I want to do what I want to do. Uh, but in order for me to be a real person, I got to look outside myself, and it's about the bigger picture, which is the community or the message. And that's not me. The message is bigger than me. So you're right. I try to be better. And one of the things I was going to talk about, and that's a great segue, actually. Uh, uh, that's a great segue. Well, the side that I would be on is the truth, and I don't know it. I don't. All I have is information from all these people, conjecture this, that. I haven't interviewed anybody. I haven't I do depositions. I have not deposed anybody. I have not looked in their eyes. I have not spoken to anybody. So I can't make that kind of assumption. But if it's true, it's an atrocity. Period. So let's not get stuck on that. But it's a great segue because it goes into the clicks v substance section that I wanted to talk about. I've received a ton. Everyone has skeletons. That's right. I have them too. 30, 40 years ago, I was arrested a lot. I was living on the streets. I had a very difficult childhood. I grew up in a circus. I mentioned that. I ended up on the streets, and I ended up doing a lot of bad things. And I'm being honest with you, to survive. But I ended up in jail. So I have skeletons too, and people can judge me for that, and that's their decision. But that doesn't make me who I am today. That it doesn't define me who I am because it's not where you come from. It's who you are today. If you're willing to change and if you're willing to get better, and I try to express that. I I have expressed in my videos and contradictorily expressed it in action that I want to stop swearing. I want to be stop being so aggressive. And you know, I noticed that very quickly. The thumbnails, the aggression level, the confrontation is what gets the views. If I put a past video, which I have about 4 or 5 past videos, and I like to be honest, if somebody's really good with me, how can I say they're not? It's just too obvious. I'm going to shake their hand and say thank you. And I have 4 or 5 of those videos. Of course, 80, 90% of them are not that. And I'm usually losing my cool at some point in time in that video. And sometimes I'm the tyrant. I am. I'm so aggressive. I'm so angry because of the hypocrisy and what I see. And I don't think it's going to change unless I become superfluously stupid. But, and it seems to win. When I'm aggressive in my videos, why is it that I get respect that I don't get if I'm passive? Is it because that police culture has staged that? I posted a video, I think it was today, my last video. I had a third, hey, Kelvin Burns, excuse me. Calvin Bush, Calvin Bush. Man, I got to say these things right. Unchained Melody. That's a song I played at weddings. I can't tell you how many times. Buyer of sorts. Buyer of sorts. So, what was I talking about? What was I talking about? Clicks versus substance. And my last video that I posted, and you'll see for 30 minutes without aggression, with a police officer since 2004 in this area, a sheriff, a great back and forth of both perspectives. And I wanted to hear him. We were both trying to talk over each other. We both emotional. It didn't start off right. He didn't ID himself. I asked him his name and IQ number. Name and IQ number, because I get upset. Howard Smith, thank you for the donation, $5. We are only humans. Peace, love, and protect our auditors. That's right. Thank you, sir. We are all humans. We all have to wipe our butts. I'm not that rich. I don't think most people are to have somebody do it for them. Maybe, not me. So it's very hard not to get upset sometimes because when you're looking at something that is so huge and non-receptive, I walked up to this individual and I said, "Hi, my name is Tyrone. I'm from News Now, or American Press Association. I'd like to ask you a question." I said, "Hi, my name is whatever." I said, "What's your name? What's your badge number?" And he didn't want to give it to me. Yes, that's right, honey bunny. It is people like Howard. That's right. And you know what? I'm not an e-bagger, but uh, I've lost my job. I lost my career, and I'm doing the best I can with the equipment and all these things. But anything that's given to me, I always put in a coffer to go back to the cause. And there are auditors out there who will tell you that I have donated a substantial amount of money that I've received from donations back to the auditors. And I'm not going to mention it. I'm just going to tell you that that's the person I am. Sorry. So clicks v substance. Now, substance doesn't get hits all the time. The clicks come from the aggression. What's right? Do we want the expansion of knowledge through that aggression when we know we're going to reach a higher audience? Or do we want to be morally centered and provide substance? It's a tough call. And that's what you hear a lot about people talking about in the chats and stuff. Tiny bit. Howard Smith, you got a job. Good for you, buddy. The Queen of England has a bum wiper. Okay, well, God bless the individual that applied for that job and got denied. Uh, buyer of sorts. What's this about? That's what I've been saying. I believe they're literally trying to mentally break him arrest after arrest. So who's this you're talking about? Me too, Anthony, and this can make a change. Um, sorry, I'd like to join in on your conversations, but I guess I should just let you guys roll. Um, I always watch these back and try to gather as much as I can because I miss a lot of stuff and I apologize. Uh, but so, any opinions? Anything you guys want to put in the chat? Eric Brandt. Oh, Eric Brandt. Yes, I saw his shitty job for what? I saw his testimony at the council hearing to the mayor, where they escorted him out. They didn't even get his full 5 minutes, and they started him late. And he told them, "Look, you really, hey Taz, how are you, buddy? Taz in the house, everybody." And they really didn't give him the full 5 minutes. His dog is running around the court. It was a beautiful thing. I love him because he's unique. I love him because he's hardcore. Um, I couldn't do that. Digital mobile post. Agree to disagree. That's right. That's right. I don't agree with dismissing anybody, regardless if they have a valid point or not, because that's me being subjective that it's valid. Maybe I'm wrong. Merlin Ferrell, how are you? Yo. So Kyle Morris, how are you? And Eric is aggressive. He's like the polar opposite of you know some of the more extremely passive concepts that are running around. But that's his style. That's what he does. Uh, does it give that? Who knows? Do I give the? I'm sure I probably do. But at the end of the day, if we're morally centered and we have the right thought in mind and the right purpose in mind, it will come out into fruition in the right way. I've always said that because the trials and tribulations you're going to get from being like when I read the comments or I respond, people don't. Val Freeman and Tyrone, thank you, Joe Webex. Those things do they I don't really get all involved, but if I see a repetition of things, I'm going to focus on. I'm going to take a look at it. You know, um, because I want to be not just true to myself, I want to be true to the cause. Myself first, the cause second. but they're pretty close. Um, so, any comments you guys got about whether we should focus on the clicks, the watch time, or the substance, which doesn't get the awareness as much? What should we do? Is that not a good question for the auditing community? What our opinion on where agreed or disagree? I have my opinion is starting in conservative groups. If you're a conservative person and you have that opinion, I would like in this chat for everybody to agree that if you're conservative and somebody's liberal, you don't become derogatory about that person. You listen politely and you try to be respectful. That's all. If you watch the video I posted today, that's what I tried to do. I tried to exemplify that, and I'm going to try to exemplify that all the time. I try to exemplify that specific concept. 49.99 donation from James Ferguson. Name an IQ number. Hey, James Ferguson, that's right. You said you're going to donate money if I said that. You are the man. Thank you for coming through with that. Piggy, piggy, oink, oink, piggy, piggy, oink, oink. That is a Clash with Bao original concept, and it has ran through. And you look at that, that gets a ton of awareness. That's that thing right there. I know it. Everybody knows it. He walks around with a piggy outfit. And I posted it on some of my videos. And I'll be honest with you, when I get aggressive JMAC 789, um, when I get aggressive on my videos, when I have a confrontation, and I leave that confrontation, I feel like crap sometimes. It's exhausting. I don't want to. I know I'm going to have to 80% of the time, 90% of the time. That's my task. But I don't want to. It's much nicer to walk in and shake somebody's hand and be cool and get out and boom, that's it. Hey, this was a great time. But that doesn't happen that often. Like I said, like in my most recent one, it's about the numbers. I'm a sociology guy. I love sociology. I believe the answer is always in the numbers if you use them the right way, not with propaganda. Um, so you guys put as much as you can in these chats. I want to read it or in the comment section after this is posted because I want to see what you guys think about that specific topic. Okay. And I just want to share something too. If anybody asks me if I'm a liberal or a conservative, and I don't talk about politics or religion, those are the two things you should never talk about uh, at the dinner table, right? I am neither. I don't think. Uh, uh, I don't know. I'm conservative in a lot of ways, but I'm not in every way. So what does that make me? A mutt? Am I, I'm a cherry picker, and I'm happy to be a cherry picker. I like cherries. Independent cherry picker. You know what I mean? It was annoying how that cop and other cops always say, "Well, it wasn't me that did that." That's right, and that was something I noticed. I spoke to somebody after that video got posted. Um, if you notice, cops will say, "It wasn't me during an audit. Why are you judging me? You don't know me." And the cop was right. I didn't know him. And if you notice, every time that guy came up with something, I had responded back very quickly because he was trying to get through too many things and overwhelm me in the conversation. I knew what he was doing. That's why I came back so fast. What did I say to him? You know, what did I say to him? I got to use the numbers, like I've said, like I've been talking about. You want me to ignore the facts, the numbers, and you want me to ignore my personal experience because you're an individual, but you wear a badge and the percentages are too high. Sociology, the numbers, the study of people, including subcultures. This is a subculture. They do not affiliate, associate, integrate with society. They have assimilated, they have not integrated. That's different. There's a difference between assimilation and integration. They've subcultured themselves and drawn that division, not just in the streets, but in their personal lives. Do you hang out with a lot of cops? Do you see them hanging out? Hey, I'm a cop. How many cop friends you got? How many cop friends you know? Your friends you got that got cops. Okay. Every time I know a cop, I play semi-pro billiards. I'm a semi-pro billiards player. I love billiards, and I played with a couple, and they were dicks, even on the pool table. Always on like, come on, just be yourself. Like I told the guy today, get rid of the wall. I'll get rid of mine if you get rid of yours. You got the gun. You got the badge. I don't. You can kill me. That's what I said to him today or yesterday, whatever it was. Freeman has an outstanding interaction with LT Tully. Let me get down here. I missed some chats here. What are you addressing, Tyrone? Please type precisely. This is to highlight his name. When you are addressing Tyrone, please type it precisely. New England Truth. Yes. NET, New England Truth. What did you say? Yeah. Let's see. Kevin Burns. Agree. Thank you. Let me just go through some chats real quick before our next topic. 99 cops shit on your rights. And I hate to say it, but the numbers are terrible. And I've got a whole thing of numbers. If you go through my videos, I pinned one, an amazing study of numbers with all the references. That was a good. If you go to the last 4 or 5 videos, I pinned a statement. I never pin my own comments. I pin other people's that I think are worthy or valid or even contradict what I'm doing because I want that banter. I judge cops by their collective actions, right? Because one thing I didn't say today that I wanted to say to this or yesterday to this cop was, it's what about the cops that don't do things? Do you address them? Yeah, you might be a good cop. Are you going to tell me you haven't come across some that aren't, that don't follow the protocols, that don't write an honest police report? Come on, come on. I haven't seen an honest police report yet, and I'm not being a jerk. I really haven't. I've read them thoroughly many times, over and over, highlighted. I've never seen an honest police report from a police officer yet. I even had a police officer write in a third person perspective about himself. In other words, somebody wrote this and referred to him in his own police report. That was an easy win. All right. Yeah, the back and forth was good. Thanks, Kevin. If Ross is a wrong cop, he's just as bad, if not worse. Where's Serpico? What happened to Serpico? We need more Serpicos. There's no such thing as a good cop. I don't know about that. I have met a couple that have quit the police department and worked for the victims against the police department because they felt that the police department was wrong. I have met police officers that have arrested other police officers. I know a police officer that during an arrest slammed down a police officer because he was violating a citizen's rights, and then she got fired. The problem is there's just not enough of them. That's what's up. And they got to get rid of the blue wall, the thin blue line. They got to get rid of it. In my videos, in my intro, I put a, the Ford guy, emblem guy, pissing on the blue line. Because if we get rid of the blue line, if we get more Serpicos in this scenario, I think we'll find more success. I think we'll be more successful at exposing the hypocrisy. It's so much harder for somebody with a camera to walk up to a place and try to extend the First Amendment audit, not consider the baiter, and then try to hold them accountable. It's so much easier if they hold themselves accountable. What a dream that would be, right? Not possible, right? Which is why I mentioned about having an oversight board that is not elected by the police department, that's community based, not federally funded, but is similar to something like the FCC or the FAA. And I am FCC licensed. So, Central Texas Accountability, how are you? Mechanic Taft, how are you? No more investigating themselves because they don't. I've held out many. Uh, I was the partner of a bar one time. Guest walked out, died right in front of the place at an accident. I watched the police officers watch him, or excuse me, her die. I heard her gurgle. I heard the sounds. I knew she was alive. I'm screaming at them to help this person. You know what they did? They broke the windows and they stood by and watched because it was their protocol. So I went down to, this was Berlin, Connecticut. I went down and I filed out an internal affairs complaint. And you know what they said? They did everything right. They watched her die, but that's the protocol. What? My liquor license is in my name. Town permits in my name. You wouldn't let me help her. You wouldn't help her. What? What? Anyways, getting a little off topic here. Isn't ignorant to say all of them about a group? Ignorance, right? There's always an exception. Ignorance is bliss if you want it to be, if it's convenient. Yeah, you do have to fail the assessment test in certain areas in order to be a police officer. The areas that they usually want you to fail in is the one of independent thinking, is the one of testing and challenging authority. Um, they don't want that. They don't want you to, you can't have a high IQ to be a police officer. It doesn't work for them. Um, I'm not saying that's right. I think that they should. I think if they had people there that are challenging them, maybe it would be better. Get rid of that protocol. Get rid of that concept. Just because you want people to follow orders like dummies, these people don't put them in brown shirts. They're not supposed to be in brown shirts. You know, this is not Nazi. This is not 1943, 1941, 1945. And that's what they do culturally in training. That's what they're creating. They're creating a robotic individual that ends up using his emotions to exercise unconstitutional acts. Sanctioned, justified by law. What's the average IQ of police officers? I've never looked that up. I can't imagine it being over 100. Sorry. Uh, I know what mine is. I personally don't want any cop to be military, and a lot of them come from the military, by the way. They come from they get points when you take the test. The test is based on points. Your test, what if it's affirmative action? What race? If you come from the military, you get points. If you I can't remember. There's a lot of other variables that go into this, and that's a point system, and that puts you higher up on that application file for that chief or captain, whoever's doing the hiring, to look at. It's based on a point system, or it used to be based on a point system. Yeah, Google. Let me know, Ain't Shane. 48 college credits, and each county, each town has different guidelines, different expectations. I know that. So when I speak, I kind of speak generally. The area that I was offered a job as a police officer was in Albany, New York, and that was so many decades ago. It's hard to say that what I know is actually true. You did 20 years, you were done. You could do another 20 years in another place. Uh, yeah, and they give you college credits too. And if you have college credits, well, that's another thing. If you have, that's also points on for to be a police officer. I had college credits at the time, and I was volunteering with the police department at the time. That was also more points. But at the time, they wanted to use my name, Tyrone, as under the affirmative action, even though I was white, and put it on top of the file for the chief, and it blew my mind. And I turned down that job. Officially, I never worked one day in uniform, not one day. I wouldn't do it. I volunteered. I drove around a lot as a volunteer, but I spoke in colleges. I spoke in the boys clubs. I spoke in, Future Teachers Association of America. I spoke at SUNY Albany. I spoke in those Cub Scouts, those kinds of places. I did not act as a police officer. I have met good cops. Um, for a short period of time, I was friends with a good cop, and he quit the police department. And his reason for quitting the police department was because of the training, he said, and the expectation from his boss when he got to the actual job went against every moral value that he had, every concept. He didn't refer to the Constitution, refer him to himself, and I appreciated that. He couldn't do it. It was like they want me to be aggressive and violate. Now that told me something. It reinforced and acknowledged everything that I've ever thought. It's not just rogue cops. It's systemic. It's cultural. That's a training thing. That's an accountability thing. And like, no, Luca, how are you? 104 average IQ. I said 100. Not bad. I said 100. I was being silly, but I was close. Isn't that silly? I was said 100 and I was close. I was being silly. I'd like to know the reference. Where you got that? Make sure that it's accurate. Where the information where you got it from. But they are safe. Do you know how many people die as a police officer? It used to be 150. It's down to about 120, 125. 50% of them die on the way to the accident or to way to the scene, whatever it is. And they hurt other people, damage property, and themselves for reckless driving, speeding, flying. So, how many people, if you look up most dangerous jobs in the United States of America, look up the top 10. You won't see a police officer there. Top 20, you won't see a police officer there. Now, maybe it's changed in the last couple of days. Thank you, honey, buddy. SS, how are you? Uh, so it's hogwash to say that a police officer's position is dangerous. If anything, our lives are dangerous around a police officer. The studies and the facts that I've received recently, it's actually 44 more times likely to be killed by a police officer than a terrorist. And these are well done studies. And I'm going to post them sometime. I'm going to get copy and paste that and show you. And it's 8 times more likely than another civilian. I love sociology. There's answers in numbers. Mechanic Taft. Yeah, the wrecks happen on the way. Uh, I don't know if it tracks psychos. I think it attracts. I think the job, Freddie Lexo. I think it attracts. I think it attracts people of insecurity. They have a lower self-esteem, even though they have a strong exterior, muscles, and yeah, I'm the man. But inside, not all of them. I'm talking about most of them. They're insecure. The, Something happened. They need attention. They didn't win class president. They didn't get the girlfriend. I don't know. I'm judging and I'm being very broad stroke. But you're asking me. I think there's a lot of variables that say that the people that are like that are actually low self-esteem people, and that's why they want to exert their authority over people. It makes them feel better about themselves. My opinion. I'm not. I don't have any facts to back that up. Um, Yeah, and the other thing I hate, and Sapien, I just want to say something. I hate that. I hate when something happens and you can see it dead to rights. You can see a police officer violating a civilian. You can see 5 police officers beating the crap out of someone. And then you can see them turn around and charge them with assaulting a police officer. Not just resisting, assaulting a police officer. When did that happen? When he was fighting for his life? Does anybody read the Constitution? You know, there's a clause in there: three or more people that approach you in uniform with guns and badges. You know, it's come on. I said in my video today, how can you expect me to be not be who I am based on what I know, what I've been through? You know, and the statistics of sociological statistics about police officers and how it manifests in their personal lives is factual. Somebody put 40% of cops beat their wives and children. It's two. I know it's two times higher. I don't know about 40%. Two times higher than the average person. They're more likely to be aggressive at home. You know, so a police officer's job is not dangerous. I'm going to be honest with you because I drove around with them for a couple of years. It's boring. This is what happens. 80%, excuse me, 60% driving around doing nothing. 20%, 30% paperwork, let's say, and 10, 20% action. So what do you think is going to happen during that 10, 20% of action? What do you think is going to happen? They're going to go full force. They're going to go. They've been waiting all this downtime. Now get two or three of those together, and you've got what I'm going to harken back what I was talking about. You've got a conspiracy thing. You've got an overt action, a materialist action, and it's in our federal laws. Three or more people show up as a police officer in uniform with guns. You are now in a different state in the legal system because they now claim three deep. Look it up. Some leftover pepper. Hey, I'll have some of that pepperoni pizza. All right, so we talked about clicks versus substance, and thumbnails. For the people who want to have a lot of hits, I know that thumbnails seem to be hugely important. Huge. I changed my thumbnail today on my last video just to see as an experiment. Sure enough, it worked. It stopped getting hits, and all of a sudden, it started getting a lot of hits. What does that say? I don't know. Should we market ourselves? Is that a sellout? Are we selling ourselves out by marketing ourselves? Great questions. I hope to hear some comments about because I want to make sure I'm morally centered. It is possible for a good cop to be a good cop. If it wasn't possible, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. I want them to realize what they're doing wrong. I don't believe that they have the proper accountability. I've been a boss all my life. I've been a boss so long, I don't care about being a boss. I don't get all warm and fuzzy. I've made too many mistakes as a boss to feel good about it. But if there's no accountability, proper accountability, there's definitely not going to be a good police officer because the good ones are going to conform with the bad ones. So a lot of times what I do is I go, yeah, I know. I'll talk about that in a second on change. But you know, that's why I go overboard a lot of times because I know there's no accountability and I'm comfortable being a boss. So I'm giving it to them like a boss. A lot of them are out of shape. No accountability. Let them slide on the pad, on the test. They get fired from one police department to go to another county. And they all protect themselves in that regard. And that's what I'm saying when it comes to Serpicos. We need Serpicos. We need some morally grounded, good police officers. And I think as an auditor, I've ran across 4 or 5 young brand. I actually have a video I'm going to post maybe tomorrow or the next day. Ravenna, New York. I met a guy. He looked like he was 12, but he seemed like a nice guy. Good conversation, no chip on his shoulder. I don't think he's into that where he's in a bad space yet. So if we can get to some of these younger people and maybe just try to relate to them and say, hey, this is who we are, maybe we can make a change long term. That's the long ball. There's some short term things. Some people need to be fired. They need to be fired. Not a vacation, paid vacation. They need to be fired. And that will send a message to the other police officers because they all think, well, I can get away with it. And it's not like they're bad versus any other occupation. This is no different than any other job. It's about accountability. The chiefs, the leaders, do your jobs. Hold them accountable like you're supposed to. You and the prosecutors are the answer to the strife in society. 100%. Hands down, believe that. Prosecutors and the leaders, chiefs, captains, etc. But it hopes to write bogus tickets or he'll get fired. Right. Yeah. And the other thing, that's right. Their leaders are telling them to go out there. I've been, and I've showed you, nobody writing tickets for a week. All of a sudden, there's 5, 6 people pulled over, and I just took a drive. Why is that? That's not justice. That's bad leadership. That's a bad culture. That's a bad mission statement. I don't care what's on the wall. What's under the mission statement that nobody knows about in between the lines? It's bad. Straighten it out, people. Straighten it out. You get paid as a manager, as a leader of a police department to hold those guys accountable. I don't care if they're your brothers. I don't care if you slept with one of their wives. I don't care if you had a bad day and a bad career. You're paid to do a job, do it right. I get held accountable as a manager of people, as a leader, every time. And you know what? Maybe they should send them to leadership schools. Maybe they should send them to more, every officer, every leader as an officer should buy the book 1 Minute Manager. It's this thick. 1 Minute Manager. Blanchett. Mark? I can't remember. Kevin Blanchett? Anyway, 1 Minute Manager. Buy it. What state am I from? I was born in a circus. That's not a lie. Canada. I was in Florida. I've been all over New England. If you ask me where I'm from the United States of America. I'm a New Englander. James Ferguson. They have no obligation to keep you safe, but yet they but yet they want to say, get out of the road, right? And write you a ticket or something because, now you pissed them off because you didn't move. And you tell them, you're not responsible for my safety. So I'm a mutt. I'm not from any state specifically. I don't align myself to any state. I sleep in different states on occasion. I'm looking at a property to purchase a home in Massachusetts right now because I lost my home in Connecticut. So I stay between Connecticut, Mass, and New York, basically right now. So, all right. So, the clicks and substance and thumbnails. Any conversation, anything you guys can put in there. Again, this is for everybody to read, including myself. Whatever you guys can offer. Okay. A good cop can be a good cop by turning in other bad cops. I've seen it. A good cop can be a good cop by not violating people's rights and just being himself as a person and not having that bravado. I've seen it. I've walked up to people aggressively, cops, and I've had them be completely humble and congenial with me when I was the idiot. So I know there's good cops out there. There's just not enough of them. Hey, Aaron Vasquez, what's up? Please come to White Plains, New York. I just went to, it was near White Plains. Peekskill, is Peekskill near White Plains? I did an audit in Peekskill. I met the mayor. I spoke with the mayor of Peekskill, New York, about some issues down there. San Diego, thank you. Tempted Sean, yeah, Peekskill, thank you. Bill, yes, Tempted, yeah. And a lot of people are concerned about how much I talk in my videos when I'm talking to these officials. And here's what I want to tell you. I know I'm going to get placated. If you think a politician, a sheriff that's publicly elected, or a mayor or whatever, they're not going to give you a placated answer because they can't really, they don't have enough information to give you a solid answer, anyways. But if you think it's not placated, come on, you're an idiot. So I don't bother with what they're saying. I want to hear, I want to be heard. That's why I talk so much, just so you know. Now, because of the comments, I'm trying to allow them to talk to other people because I want you guys to hear it, what they want to say too, if that's what you want. And I don't have a problem with that. Like, so on this last video, you see that I offered him, even though we talked over each other, I offered him a lot of time to just talk. And I think that's good because a lot of times they'll dig themselves a hole. And if you watch that video, when you watch that video, that police officer lied right in the video. He said, I didn't get offended. 2.5 minutes prior, he said he was offended by it. And he wanted me to like argue with him. It's like, it's in the video. you, you know, you can't hide when somebody's nervous and upset, and all of a sudden they're friendly, and then all of a sudden they say, "Why are you asking me that?" His disposition changed. That's not even words. That's an action. Where do you go to school to learn United States counterintelligence? You go to military school first, then you might get into the CIA. That's the best way. Or you go into the FBI and segue in. Cops do a lot of double speaking. They try to manipulate, and they're allowed to. They're encouraged to. They're trained to try to tongue tie you, manipulate you, and take control of the situation. A cop's premise when he goes into a scene, and this is some things that I did learn, is that area right there. They're assessing it, and they got to control it. They want to control the whole environment, not just a little bit. They want all of it, and they're taught that. The problem with that goes against our Constitution. Yeah, the word molested is not just a sexual reference. We want to be able to travel and do things unmolested by our public officials and police officers, and that's not happening. Partly because of the Patriot Act, but partly because of bravado and emotions. That's what it is. That's what it comes down to a lot of times. This doesn't come down to law. It comes down to emotions and personalities. I choose the principles over personalities. I choose that way. They don't. Truth, God, Allentown Transparency. Haven't heard from you. How are you, buddy? I appreciate you too, sir. All over supporting everybody. This guy, Truth, God, Allentown Transparency. Good people. If you come in regularly, I definitely will give you a wrench, sir. Love your support to all the auditors. Okay. Um, so we talked about the clicks versus the substance. Uh, I know. I know. Unchained Melody. That's my go-to word. Um, I'm a World War II buff, and I don't know if you know this, but that was a word that came out of that, era, uh, and it seemed very derogatory. And if you look it up in the dictionary, it's actually really derogatory. I won't even tell you what it is. Let's just say it is reference to a prophylactic. So uh, when I get really angry, I say that because that's not a swear word. Maybe it's so derogatory though. I appreciate that. To what we were talking about, clicks versus substance. So I'm trying to get better with the substance and get out of the concept of, just swearing or being volatile, because that's my issue. That's my anger. That's my from being victimized. And I got to think outside of myself. I got to think, it's not about me all the time. This is a self-centered concept, but it's not about me all the time. Does the latch on a car door click? I invoke my fifth all the time. If in my videos, you'll see me do Fifth Amendment ones, so I won't say anything, or I'll say, no, I'm not telling you anything. That's my Fifth Amendment. Um, but hey, Regina, how are you? Good to see you. Thank you. Got 3 or 4 more in queue. Got a lot of videos coming out because I was not feeling well for a while. I was building a small driveway for my car, and the stone, a lot of stone, a lot of wheelbarrows, and I had to, anyways, blew out myself. Rude Rick, Eric Brandt mentally. Mayor Eric Brent is a mentally extremely highly intelligent individual. He thinks on a whole new level. Uh, his communication style is based on that intellectual level he has against the state that he sees, and it's very frustrating for him. I think the more you see, the more oppressed you are, the more intelligent you are, the more frustrated you're going to be. I said it all my life. I wish I was stupid. I wish I was dumber. I wish I didn't care so much. Would I be happier? I don't know, but that's not who I am. I am who I am, and I can't be anybody else. To thine own self be true, William Shakespeare. If he stole it, I don't know. Is Eric in here? He was in here once the other day. Nuna, Luca, how are you? Nani, Luca, excuse me. Let's see. Let me go through the chats real quick to make sure I didn't miss anybody. I like to give shout outs to everybody. We talked originally about new auditors, supporting new auditors. I mentioned Solid Citizen News, New Mexico Citizen, Fighting the Good Fight, and Freedom to Film. Um, I'll look for a couple more every week. I'll try to mention them. I didn't miss anything. Okay, so we're going to go on to the last thing is the questions for the sheriff of a county. This is my second meeting with a staged meeting. Turning a key, make a click noise. Digital mobile post. You are getting me like some poetry stuff. I can't. Does turning a key make a click noise? Is that a metaphor? This must be a metaphor. So I am subbed all of them. Thank you, Joe Webex. You're a good guy. From Canada, Ontario. I was born in a circus in Canada, outside of Montreal. How are you, Canuck? Hey, hey. Um, I don't know if to speak for any, but he is a Caesar. All right, so questions for the sheriff. What do you guys think? What would you ask a sheriff of a county that writes tickets, a lot of tickets, that has a car that is silhouetted with the sheriff emblem and it's kind of hidden, kind of incognito thing? Um, and any other questions? What do you think? What would you ask a sheriff of a police department? Does your seatbelt make a click noise? Seatbelts are unconstitutional. The law is unconstitutional. It's a bought and paid for law. It saves lives. But so does not going out of your house and hang gliding. Do I need the government to tell me what to do with my life? Now, if it's for somebody else, if it's society, if what I'm doing could negatively impact society, then yeah. But when I don't wear my seatbelt, who's at risk? Me. That's my choice. Same thing with helmets. What? What? Why does the sheriff not want to? I can't ask him that question. Why do I feel the need for such? Doesn't it make extortion? Why do you feel the need for such secrecy? Secrecy in reference to what? What's the unmarked car law in New York? They cannot do it in traffic enforcement. Not allowed. And they do it. And that was my issue. I had a New York State trooper on a high ghost markings. Ghost markings. Yeah, the ghost markings. That's what we were talking about. Ghost markings. Yeah. Why do you feel the need to be a ghost? Right. Because because you're making money. You want to make money. You don't want anybody to see you making. You want to be able to creep up on them. You want to be a criminal about it. And that's the way I see about it. And that's a great question. That's what I'll ask him that. Thank you. That was one of my questions because I talked to. If you watch my last video, that's what I talked a lot about. Actually, that's what I addressed the police officer about originally. You're not pulling people over in this car, are you? It's against New York State law. And I know he's doing it. And then he tried to argue with me. And then I had to remind him of the theory of Occam's razor. Do you think I'm an idiot, buddy? Now, he was congenial. He was a nice guy. So I spent a half hour with him. But Moreno Valley News first. How important is just enforcing the law to you? All right, Mystery. Thank you very much, Mystery. Talk to you soon. I can't believe that digital mobile book. Holy crap! I would love to see a picture of that. Good luck catching me. Uh, what is mutual? Yeah, what is mutual respect? Uh, I don't see in their protocols and their training that encourages respect from them to us. I see it actually as disencouraging it because they have to be authoritarian or something based on the protocols. So no, I don't see that there's mutual respect from the onset. So I don't know what he's talking about. I gave him respect. He gave me respect. Once I asked for ID, he thought it was disrespectful. Why? That's low self-esteem. That's a pride thing. Um, News Now Houston, what? Andy Duff, how are you? They have the hierarchies. Yeah, the problem is the hierarchical system leaves a lot of room for lack of accountability if the foundation isn't strong. If you don't have a good leadership program, you've got people just doing whatever they want. What happened to NNH? News Now Houston again? Is that what that is? That's old news. Is that what you're talking about, Andy? Um, I try to provide as many things as I can provide. I'm humble enough to know that I don't know a lot, or I'm learning. This is brand new for me. This is not a career choice for me. This is not. I never thought I'd be doing this. I didn't even know you made money on YouTube. I didn't even know that. I thought they took it away. I heard something in the news. I never started this channel for anything other than, you know, I was going to fool around a little bit. Giving out stuff for the church I was volunteering for. I was volunteering at a church, giving away stuff at Walmart. And now I'm chasing cops down, swearing at them. All right, Regina, thank you very much. Sizzle Rep, how are you? Yeah, you been to that Plaza, Sizzle Rep? The cop was pretty good, let's be honest. All right. Bye of sorts. Let's see, how long we've been on here, folks? I don't want to go too long. Where is my time on here? I don't see it. All right, well, we're gonna cover out the last thing. Any open questions? Anything anybody want to talk about? Now's the time. Anything? We're gonna be News Now Houston something, but I don't know what he's talking about. I think I already covered that. Um, the quality is crisp. Thank you, Merlin. I'm just using my laptop. Cool. Uh, but I think, all right, Joe. Yeah, yeah. I want their name and badge number right away in case something happens. I mean, that's simple. I want to stay out of jail all the time when I'm auditing. I don't want to go to jail. Why would I want to go to jail? I mean, if I have to prove a point, sure. But why would I want to? I want to bring the information and get out. All right, there, Anthony. What does it sting when I push a pencil into Sapien? That's silly. Thoughts on news and a feud with Hemming? There's many feuds, and I don't want to, and I can mention many of them. That's just one. uh, it's a community. Uh, Even if you have a family, people are going to fight. People are going to disagree. People are going to say something that can be perceived wrong. People are going to say something intentionally. It happens. And you know what? At the end of the day, people are still doing their thing. They're putting their videos up, and we're having disagreements. And at the fruition of that, hopefully things come out on the right side. If the passion is real, it doesn't matter. It will. If the passion is real, which I believe it is in those people's cases, uh, I don't know Felipe Hemming. I've never spoken to this individual. I've invited him to have a Discord argument, a banter, debate with me. I'm not intimidated by him. I want to put him in his place, um, but he's never accepted my challenges. So, um, but News Now Houston is going through some stuff that's very subjective, and how can you respond to something that's so subjective? You can't. Oh, sorry about that, Tempest Sean. You got deleted by Honey Bunny by accident. uh, he lost me when he compared giving a badge number to the same. Yeah, that was weird. That was weird. So Social Security number, and then want to know my address, like I'm a public official or something. You know that's just crazy. And I've had a couple of these guys follow me around, so I know they know who I am or where I live. So I don't. He's just playing games. Kyle Morris, when I talk about NNH, it was doesn't apply. I wasn't. Somebody asked me a question, and I kind of said I don't want to talk about it. Kyle, just so you know, um, it's subjective. I can't talk about it. That's what I said. I did talk about Philip Handy that I've never spoken to him. So actually, I haven't said anything about anybody. Thank you, Marino. I appreciate it. Uh, they follow me by IP address. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They follow me in a lot of other ways. I've had helicopters flying over. I filmed them. I have footage. Not once, not twice, many times. I had them drive up to my house, sit there. New York State Troopers. Yeah, I've had death threats. Look at some of my chats. You'll see many serious death threats. If they're going to do it, do it. Don't talk about it. Be about it. Don't talk the talk, walk the walk. I'm here. I don't hide. All right, man. Be good, Andy. Thank you, sir. Air Force. Well, all right. Well, no other questions. I'm going to sign out here, folks. It's been a great conversation again. Um, I'm going to wrap it up by saying, again, please give back to receive. You will receive the reward for helping other auditors. I know I have. All right. So, new auditors, one last time before I sign off. Solid Citizen News, we talked about. We talked about New Mexico Citizen, Fighting the Good Fight, and Freedom to Film. All right, folks. I appreciate it. This is Tyrone from New England Truth. I'll see you guys next Friday, hopefully, if all goes well. Love you all. Talk to you soon. Truth God Allentown. Talk to you soon. All right. Thanks, guys.